nice warm tea, we can feel stress-free. Soft voices and a lot of laughs, it's the Mundane Podcast.
Hello out there. How are you doing today? I hope you're having a really wonderful day. At the very minimum, an okay day. You know, I'm not going to tell you what kind of day you should have, but either way, I hope it's more on the positive than the negative side. My name is Chris, and you're listening to the Mundane Podcast with Chris and Dave. I'm that Chris, and this is my beautiful friend Dave.
Hello.
I think that was good. I tried to go full in on an intro there. So, anyone that hasn't heard us before, we are looking into something that other people may see as mundane, and we are here to say, no, I believe everything is at least a bit interesting to someone. And today, our subject is going to be something Dave needs to guess, as always. So, Dave, please have a thinkle, have a little guess. Maybe ask some questions. What is today's episode going to be about?
Okay, well, as ever, I'm going to try and think of different questions. Is it an inanimate object?
It is an inanimate object.
Okay, cool.
Doesn't reduce it by a lot. It reduces it by a bit, though, I guess.
Yeah. Is it an indoor thing?
You can use it indoor or outdoor.
Okay. Is it something that might be used for a game?
Dependent on the kind of game, potentially. Yeah, that's a good question.
I don't know how much it's helped me, though.
You usually need another thing to use it.
Okay. Is it a tool of some sort?
It is a tool of some sort. Yeah, that's okay. Good.
Yeah. Is it a chisel?
It is not a chisel.
'Cause I was thinking hammer and chisel.
It's not like a tool like a... You might have one in a toolkit, but you wouldn't just have it in your toolkit.
Right.
It's a tool in the classical definition. It is a thing used for something.
Right. Broom.
It is not a broom. You would use a broom in the game. Oh, I suppose you would. Okay, yeah, my bad.
Yeah, I've probably role-playing sweeping.
Role-playing sweeping? I thought you meant like curling, because they use brooms on that, don't they?
Well, yeah, they
brushes.
do, yeah.
You just meant because surely, Dave, any object you could be used in a game if the game is just role-playing.
Well, yeah, it's one of those. Anything can be a game.
Saucepan if I'm pretending to cook.
Well, you know, when you have a child, you do these things, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
I have role-played sweeping with my child. But yeah,
get them used to cleaning quickly.
Yeah, curling just wasn't in my mind at the time, but obviously curling. Yeah, so yeah, it's not a broom. Well, is it a dustpan?
It's not a dustpan. It's not used for cleaning, Dave. It's used for a game. Once again, what game uses dustpans?
Role-playing.
Role-play. Okay, well, yeah, we're going to be here for a while.
Okay, right, no, okay. Let me just forget about the cleaning stuff.
It's definitely not for cleaning. If anything, it's the opposite.
A peg.
Oh, so close now. What's a peg used? What game is pegs used? What games are you playing, Dave?
Role-playing, putting out the washing.
Right, like something stinky. That's a good little role playing with someone stinky.
Well, yeah, I thought that maybe, I don't know, you might clip bits of paper and clip them off. I don't know.
It's not used for any role playing of housework.
Sorry, this is taking a long time just to guess the topic. We're 5 minutes in and I haven't even guessed. But it was close. So, string?
No. What game? Well, I suppose string could be used for a few more games. I'll forgive that one. No. It's a tool.
Yeah, this is a problem. I'm struggling to think of...
It requires something else. Maybe you want to, put some notes in. Maybe you need to...
You got a pen?
It's a pen!
I thought of pen earlier, but I thought, no, like...
This always happens, Dave. Yeah. I'm starting to think that you just say that. I don't, because I know you. You are a trustworthy and honest fellow whom I love very much, and I believe...
Man. Thank you.
But
I'm
if
telling the
anyone
truth.
those at home, the amount of times we've done this, and you've gone, oh, I thought that earlier, but I didn't say it, it just sounds a bit like a cope. So it's not just any pen. I've kind of gone at this. So I was at my work the other day where I was in a meeting, funnily enough, and it was one of those bits in the meeting where we're like, oh, we'll have a quick break, and everyone goes off. And a couple of people went to the toilet and a couple of people didn't. And we're sat there waiting for everybody to come back. And I was like, oh, what thing should I do for my podcast? Any suggestions for episodes? And then I was like, oh, and there was a bit of a think. And my boss, Dan, hi Dan, probably not going to listen to this, but I know. He was like, the common ballpoint pen.
Yeah.
And he articulated it so perfect. And it was just something about the common ballpoint pen that really like stuck with me in my soul. And then I was like, I have to talk to Dave about this.
Yeah, you do. I mean, because it's such a... I'm surprised we haven't done it already, basically, put it that way.
If it does border on not mundane, I think...
Do you think?
But I think, maybe not, but like I think like my wife said it best the other day. She said that if you put the word common in front of it and it makes sense, that's a mundane thing. That's like the rule.
Yeah.
So the common toothpick, the common footstool, the common wallpaper, I suppose not, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah,
the common tea bag. It's
the
all
common
things.
yawn.
The common yawn. Very common when it depends on a certain day, doesn't it? Yeah. So there we go. On the set, this is mildly tangential. But I have to share this story to someone in a form so other people could see it. So the other day, I was at a market and I saw some salt shakers of two common household tits, two common blue tits. Okay?
Yeah.
Beautiful. And that's what they were, little salt shakers. And I was like, oh, this will be a good little gift. So I bought them. And then in just a moment of forgetting where I was, and I did it in a jokey voice, just went, oh, this is the first time a husband could give his wife a nice pair of tits. And the guy just was like, £3.95, please. Just did not react to what I said at all. And then I wanted to be like, no, I didn't. I'm not like that, really. I'm not. No, it's just a, no.
They thought you were being for real.
They thought I was being for real.
Yeah.
Like, that's what women, that's all they're good for. And I was like, no, buddy. No, I'm not like that.
Did you say that?
No, I was too embarrassed.
You just walked away and let it.
Because I did it in that
Yeah.
voice. I did it in that voice where it's like, well, it's clearly not my voice.
Yeah.
But then he doesn't know that. He probably heard me go, I'd like them, please. But instead of being like, I want them, please. Yeah. Whoa. So yeah, the common household. So the only reason I brought this up was the common household blue tit. I was like, oh, I could work that in there, but I needed to share my shame because that was just from last week.
Maybe he was upset because he was about to make that joke. And you took it
Maybe.
from him.
Do you know what was even worse? It was him and another person were behind on the other side of the stall.
No.
And it was a lady as well, and she didn't react either. They were just like, not even like oh, you're the worst. No, just like, what is wrong with people? Like, I felt like when I left, they would have both looked at each other going, the public, what's this world coming to? And I'm like, no, please.
Yeah,
anyway.
you're one of them now.
Yeah, I'm one of them now. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is my public apology for making a joke about two common household birds. I always get confused when people say house. It's not. Are they household birds? They're not, are they? They're like local.
Yeah.
Do you say household birds?
Household names for birds.
Household names for birds, like common.
But yeah, they're garden birds. So I think they are. You can class them as a garden bird.
Garden bird.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when my wife is sunbathing out back. She's a garden bird, isn't she? see, Dave gets it.
Yeah, I do.
Once again, if people just tuned into this podcast, never heard it before, going, who is this misogynist man?
Yeah, it's not Chris, basically.
It's not me. I think that's part of the joke. I think,
joke.
Part of the joke is I'd never call a girl a bird, because it's never made sense to me.
No.
Calling a girl a bird. But that's a conversation for a different day. Okay, so today we are looking at the common ballpoint pen. So, Dave, what are your feelings? What's the first thing that strikes you when you hear the common ballpoint pen?
It's something that I think it's very mundane, but I think it's going to get less mundane as time goes on, because I think we're going to use them less and less. And such they will become more of a novel thing to use. We already use them less, and there's already, I think, perhaps some novelty to use a pen, because I probably most frequently use a pen now to write birthday cards and things like that. Sign a few forms, but so many forms these days are e-signatures.
You took it on a deep turn before I even thought about it. That's amazing.
I went deep, but yeah, because I don't have any strong opinions about pens, as you would probably expect.
Do you like a good pen? Is there a difference between a good pen and a bad pen?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, a pen that works is a good pen for me, to start with. But
a pen that doesn't work is just a stick.
Yeah, but it needs to work in that moment. So that's what I should say. A pen that works in that moment when you need to use a pen, I like, because let's refer to a previous episode on shelves. A lot of people have got pots of pens on their shelves,
yes.
like an old mug. In fact, I've got a mug that looks just like this one, but a slightly different shape, that is holding pens on a shelf in my house. And when I need a pen, I'll just pick a pen out of that pot. And sometimes that pen won't work, but it might do on another day, so I'll pop it back in.
Yeah, I have pens like that.
So the pen that works in the moment you need it is a good pen that I like. But then you do get better pens. So biros, they're kind of like the lower kind of level of pens, I would say. And then you can go up to ballpoint pens. I think is probably the next level.
Well,
up.
a biro is a ballpoint pen.
It is really, isn't it? But okay, let's say a standard like Bic biro, or even a supermarket version of a Bic biro. They're sort of maybe the lower echelons of pen quality. Okay. And then I think you're probably going up to like, what is it? Parker, the brand?
Yeah,
I know, but they're quite a premium brand. But is it
Parker?
They do.
Parker
some
are like one of those
low...
premium brands, like Apple now, where they have like, we have a cheaper laptop, but all of our main things are mainly kind of fancy and expensive. That's what
they're
Parker
usually
is.
grey coloured. These ones I'm thinking of, these slightly more premium ballpoint pens.
Yeah, I know which
come
ones
up here in the scale.
I've definitely got one of them. Around.
Yeah. I'll know exactly it when I see it. I think the lid's like a lighter grey and the actual pen is a darker grey, and it's got a longer, thinner, straight. Is it nib?
Yeah, I guess.
It comes out the end rather than like a pointy triangular kind of nib.
Well, I suppose at that point, if it's a nib, is it still ball? Is it still a ball at the end? Is it still a ballpoint pen? If it's a nib,
I guess it is the ball on the end of the nib.
Is it a ball at the end of the nib?
I don't know. I mean, there might not be a nib on a pen at all, but that's what I was calling it for the purposes of this particular conversation.
Common ballpoint pen. We need to make sure we get our pens right here.
So we're not going to talk about fountain pens then.
We might have to when we get into the history.
Because we're not going to do another episode on those alone, are we?
Yeah, we are.
Are we? Okay. Yeah. Because I've got a story about that. You know the story.
Yeah, we're not. No, we're going to save that. That'll be a teaser. Then one day, when this becomes, we can release this as a box set. They'll be like the writing implement collection. We'll have pencils. We'll have pens. Maybe we'll even throw a quill in there. Quill is not mundane though. Quill is like quite exciting.
No, very exciting. I mean, a fountain pen is borderline.
Fountain pen.
Yeah.
Like calligraphy is one of those things that sounds like it's going to be mundane until you look at it, and then you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like, it's always very exciting, but it's one of those things that's like, initially it's just fancy writing, but then sometimes, especially if you see those videos online where people are, doing this calligraphy and so on, you're like, oh, this is nice. And you can do little bits of good calligraphy with a pen. I think the thing that's kind of amazing about a pen is you can do anything with it. Yeah. You can draw, you can write a death threat, you can write a love letter, you can draw a picture of me with eyes 10% bigger than they normally are.
Yeah, you can sign marriage papers. You can sign divorce papers. You can make and break marriages with a pen.
All signing. Those are all signing. You can
sign your life
business
away with a pen.
You could do that for everything. You just do the beginning and the end, because it's like you can create a company and sign your name.
Yeah.
And you can sign for bankruptcy.
Yeah. You can dissolve a company.
You can dissolve. That's the whole lifetime. You could create a company. You can write the paychecks. You can write off your orders, and then you can write down for a loan to save the company, and then you can write for your new business plan that's going to get a bit more money. You can then write to apologize to the shareholders that you are losing money, and then you can write to eventually dissolve that company, and then you can write to sign into the prison that you got in for fraud.
Yeah,
there's a whole story that you could tell with just that object of that entire thing, and there's not a lot of objects like that can hold the whole story of everything.
And yet most of those things now that you mentioned, you probably type these days.
It's true.
And such is
the
waning life of the pen.
Do you know what? I would feel it would feel a bit more special getting a paycheck that's signed, hand signed. Back in my day, when I was 15, I was working in a pub as a glass collector, and we were paid in cash, ovs, and they would write. It was like a little envelope. I bet people those little paper envelopes, and it would go like amount, name, what shifts they were paying me for, and yeah, there was never a signature, but it was like this amount for this, and it felt very good. I think I still have them.
That's old.
Hold on, let me see if I can find it. I can reach. Oh my goodness, I found one. Oh my goodness, I keep Everett. So I try to not be a hoarder, but things like official documents, things like payslips, I've kept for a long time, and I have like a little thing of like memories for these references. So this is one of my first ever paychecks.
Wow, I mean that looks like something you'd see in a museum.
Oh, don't say it like that, Dave.
It does,
I'm not that
doesn't
old.
it? I mean, I don't think I've ever even had a handwritten payslip.
Yeah, there you go. I was
paid in cash when I did a paper round. That was, my first job that I was paid any money to do, and they just gave me the £9 a week, and that was it. I don't think I had a payslip with it.
This was Lion brand. I'm guessing it's numbered throughout the year, but yeah, look, and I didn't actually realise it's actually got it's got your name, you can put all your deductions on there.
Yeah.
It's got your national insurance number. It's got everything. I can't believe I just grabbed that. I can't believe I just had that at hand, especially because I don't have any ballpoint pens at hand, which I do want to get to and I want to grab. But yeah, there we go. So that was my first ever job. So that probably was 2015.
Yeah.
28th of July 2015, I got paid £24. And at that point, I think I normally worked 2 shifts. I think I worked like a Friday night and then sometimes a Saturday morning. I'd do like this setup.
You sure it's not 2005?
2005. I forgot how old I am and what year I was born.
Yeah,
in.
I was going to say you started late with work.
I didn't believe in they were only doing pens. That was all I could get.
And yeah, they ended late with handwritten payslips as well. I guess
it's probably. Do you know what? That's also an example of the only time I think I could ever just hold my payslip onto the camera.
Yeah, you wouldn't do it with
I wouldn't do it with a real payslip. There's nothing on there aside from is your name, your date, and how much you paid. As opposed to like, here's my security number, here's my national insurance number. Please don't steal it. I don't know why I've turned into American there. That was like private information. It's because I associate hackers with like American films. I'm going to hack them. I'm going to get them in.
I get that. Yeah.
But hackers don't use ballpoint pens. So...
No, they probably don't. Unless they like make notes, like hand notes on there. But they probably would just type the notes on a computer next to the one there. Because they're going to have loads of computers on the go, aren't they, if they're hackers?
Yeah. Maybe they have a bit. I'm a big fan of writing handwritten notes. I do find there are studies that show it's kind of more of a direct connection to your brain. Because when you go to type things, you have to manually change things. I don't know about you. My handwritten notes are like sometimes those of like a serial killer. But like about mundane things. I'm not like writing about murdering things, but I'll be like writing notes at work or like writing notes in the meeting, and I have to draw them in shapes, or I'll have to draw little spirals around it. I can never just do heading, text, subheading, text, list. I'll always do like little symbols around it. I read a thing once that like I think it was like Richard Brett, some kind of millionaire person was literally like, and here's their note-taking technique. What they would do is they would do little symbols. So the ones I always remember was you do a question mark if you need to ask a question. So instead of just a bullet point, you do a little question mark to ask a question, an exclamation mark for something that's important, and then you can underline it to add more importance to it. And then, there'll be things where it'll be like, I'll write something, and then if I feel like it's really important, I'll write it in really big and be like, don't forget this.
Yeah. I've definitely done similar things with taking notes by hand, and I think it makes sense that it's a more connected way to your brain to write compared to typing. Because I think, if I'm being creative, if I'm writing a poem or something like that, I think I would prefer to be handwriting. Doesn't necessarily. I mean, I've definitely written things on my phone or on a computer, but I think I've defaulted to, if I'm writing at the time and there's a pen and paper handy, then I would default to that rather than typing it out on my phone or something. And I've definitely got bits of folded up A4 paper with like that with lyrics on and stuff.
Yeah. Do you type lyrics when you write lyrics now?
I have done, especially when I was at uni, because I would have to submit them as part of my coursework for some of the lyrics that I'd be writing. But also, I think for a while I just felt like it was a good way to preserve them if I lost a bit of paper. Not for, historical archival purposes, like, what if I'm a legend one day? Better keep my lyrics on Google Drive or whatever. Just like, in case I lose a bit of paper and I'm like, well, I've lost the lyrics, so I can't remember them or whatever. I'm making it sound like I'm a prolific songwriter.
You write more songs than a few people,
but
sure.
I prefer the pen. And I think, I reckon if you took a survey of songwriters and artists and creatives,
it must be.
I think when they're really at least coming up with the real roots of an idea, they might be out somewhere to be inspired. I think the pen and the pad would still be the favourite way. So it'll always have its place. It will always have its place.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's definitely becoming less used.
Yeah, I wonder if it's not gonna go down forever. It's kind of reached an equilibrium now, because we've had typing on computers for a long time. We've had typing on phones and things for decades now.
Yeah.
The iPhone was 2008, 2009, 18 years ago. So we've had an entire lifespan of an adult being used to typing on a touchscreen phone. As well as keyboards. I know people that used to go, my nan did it for sure, they used to go to typing class to learn how to type on a keyboard. Yeah. Now it's just you just expect, and as it happens, you're expected to do that quite easily. And I think one of the things I always think about that helped me with writing was growing up, because we're of a certain vintage, typing on MSN on instant messaging to each other, because I really feel that got me. I can touch type now because of that. I feel like doing all my writing at school, I don't think helped.
No.
But touch typing, I can now and I think it was literally because I'd be like, hey man, how are you?
I was thinking also about, we might be one of the last generations, or the last generation basically, to have used pens up to a certain age in school, because obviously at the start in school, you're probably not going to go from learning to write to, let's go straight into a keyboard. I would imagine they still handwrite things.
I know in universities they do handwritten exams still, and I know a lot of places they do handwritten exams because it is the number one way to know what someone's not using AI.
Yeah, well, okay, so then maybe pens are going to come back even more in some aspects of life. Yeah.
Because that's what I mean. I feel like it's kind of reaching an equilibrium now, because there's a lot more value, especially with the AI. This has become a very deep podcast. I've gone from bird jokes to this, but I do genuinely believe that the one thing that AI has done, whilst making it seem like things are being devalued, I think has actually increased the value of something that is human. Otherwise, why not just have a thing talking, this is about, why not just have facts about pens, and then had the odd little ballpoint pen joke generated. This is about a pen, it uses a ball, but not a football, a really small ball, a ball for mice, ha ha ha, and then that for 10 minutes.
A handwritten note can have a lot of value, if it's a note written by someone famous that may have passed away as well. But no,
wait, hold on. Wait, a famous dead person. Did you mean someone who is famous but also someone who's passed away? Or did you mean a famous person who has passed away? That's the most valuable handwritten note it can be.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Because you said a handwritten note, maybe from a celebrity, maybe from someone who's passed away, and I thought, what, a celebrity who's passed away? If you have a handwritten note from a dead celebrity, you're like, wow, this is.
What did the note? Valuable. Did I get the note before or after they died? You mean?
No, well, no. If it was written to you, that would be even weirder. If if they have died, and then you get a handwritten note from them, you're like, "What's going on here?"
Freaky, I didn't even know you. Well, I don't. I was going to name a famous person who's dead, but I don't want to disrespect anyone.
Mozart? Why are you William Shakespeare? Why are you writing this? I can't even read your handwriting. It's all curly.
But say, I don't know, you lived a longer time ago and you happen to have a bit of paper that Jimi Hendrix had written some notes about a song on. That bit of paper is probably going to be worth a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
In fact, Jimi Hendrix isn't a good reference really, because he's not modern enough. Okay, swap it for Amy Winehouse, right?
Okay.
But she could have typed some notes, perhaps. But that email or whatever, that's worthless. It's completely worthless. And even the laptop she typed it on probably wouldn't be worth as much as a piece of paper that she had written on with a pen. Do you know what I mean? Amy Winehouse's old laptop probably wouldn't be worth as much, I would posit, as a handwritten note even if it's some nonsense.
Also, you are very much looking at value in terms of money.
Yeah, but
written...
also not just monetary value. I think it's an organic thing, like a piece of paper with it. It's a lot more organic than
it's a connection,
a device,
isn't it?
Or an email or whatever.
It's a tangible connection.
Yeah, exactly.
From the person.
Yeah, that's it. And pens enable that.
They do. Yeah. So the ink enables that, the having it kind of put down and that. Yeah, it's very true.
Like if you get a birthday card from those online ones or whatever, and, they're typed out, and it's nice. It's lovely that someone's spent the time and thought of you and sent you a card. But, maybe they didn't have time to post it quickly or whatever. But it isn't as nice, let's face it, as a nice handwritten card where they've actually written on a card, put it in the envelope. It's just not quite the same, is it?
I completely agree.
I appreciate a Moonpig card all the same. No offense to them whatsoever.
I think sometimes it's always interesting the choice of the card that people choose. Because I feel like when you're in a shop, when someone buys you a physical card, right? If they've not ordered it online or gone to a weird shop, they just go to a supermarket and you are greeted with all of those cards. And then, you narrow it down by age or by the relationship or whatever. And then there is a moment where it's you may have a selection of 10 cards to your friend, to your mum, to your husband, to your wife. And of those 10, you have to be what card summarizes them or my relationship to them? While a Moonpig, you can there's everything on there.
Yeah, you can just
so you get a bit more choice.
Yeah.
So there is a bit more kind of potentially thought put in.
Yeah, that's true. The front of the card itself, that card you first see when you pull it out of the envelope, may actually, be, or open the email, because some of them are digital, aren't they? It could make you laugh more than you might have laughed from the limited selection of a paper card.
I'm always a big fan of hand-making cards, but I'm not very good. Normally with a ballpoint pen, maybe with a couple of felt tips. Felt tips are a good Mundane. We'll do that. That'll be part of the writing implement collection of the Mundane. My other favourite thing, and this is my advice to anyone out there, if you want to get someone a card, but you don't want to spend a lot of money, but you want to be a bit more creative with it, you can buy a pack of cards and then cut them up and stick them. If you don't want to do the cutting and sticking, what I like to do is buy inappropriate cards and then retrofit them for the birthday. So I'm a big fan of the sorry for your loss card that I'll then buy, and then I'll just be sorry for the loss of your 29th year.
Nice,
sort of
something
like that. Sorry for the, because if I say loss of your childhood, that sounds dodgy, but it's sorry for the loss of this, or congratulations on turning another year. Just kind of, but doodling, maybe just doing it with the ballpoint pen or cutting a thing out. I find that works quite well. Getting a kid's birthday card, you can get congratulations, you're 2, and then you can just add the 9, the 8, or you're 3, and then you just add in the 5 or the 6.
Yeah. I've probably had one or two of those from you.
I've definitely done that for you.
And cards like that are the ones that I keep as well.
Yeah, there is a thing, isn't there, where you
do
decide on which cards that you keep and which
where someone.
If someone with a ballpoint pen just writes from, if they just go from John, and then you're and it's just a little card. It's recycle. I like turning them into tags as well. Recommend that.
Yeah,
but when it comes to card that's got a nice little message in, or it's been adapted, there is a value in that, but it still comes back to ballpoint pens. I feel like we've talked about as always, as it should be. We've gone all around this. So Dave, let's go a bit into the history of ballpoint pens before we run out of time. So this is from executivepensdirect.com.
Okay. Yeah.
And I found there was a underlying mythology to the ballpoint pen. Before I do that, though, could you name the person that invented the ballpoint pen?
Well, I'm going to take a guess on his surname, or her surname.
Go on.
Penn. Sean Penn, Well, that's 2 N's, isn't it?
The inventor of the ballpoint pen's second name is Penn.
It could be.
Pens that have been around for centuries.
Yeah.
Just so happened, this person's name just happened to be, I'm going to reinvent my namesake.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Who invented the ballpoint pen? Okay, I'm going to actually say the surname could be Biro. No, well should done. I get out of...
No, that was good. That was what I was expecting you to say.
Right, and is that the right answer?
Let's go. ExecutivePensDirect.com. Contrary to popular belief, the first ballpoint pen was not invented by Laszlo Biro.
Oh.
His story would come 40 years later. He is involved.
Good.
The very first... So it wasn't like they just made up a name. Not just some kind of Laszlo Biro, although like that is a perfectly rhyming name. Can you guess from Laszlo what country he's from?
America?
Laszlo? No, Laszlo is a Hungarian name.
Is it? Yeah,
Yeah,
all I
yeah.
can think of is Laszlo on the Grand Theft Auto games.
Yes. I have a feeling that his name is probably related to that, although it's spelt slightly differently, because Laszlo is Laszlo. Anyway, the ballpoint pen was not invented by Laszlo Biro. His story would come 40 years later. The very first ballpoint pen was invented by a man named John J. Loud on the 30th of October. What year do you think, Dave?
30th of October, 1909.
Okay, not bad. Was named John J. Loud on the 30th of October, 1888. But it's okay. Well, actually, you're double wrong. You're double wrong, because we're going to get into it.
Okay.
Was invented by a man named John J. Loud on the 30th of October, 1888. A leather tanner and occasional inventor. What a role. I want to be an occasional inventor. Who was looking for a way to mark leather and wood where fountain pens were unable to. His design consisted of a small steel ball rotating inside a socket that could roll over the surface. In his patent, he explained... I'm going to do a voice for him. My invention consists of an improved reservoir or fountain pen, especially useful among other purposes for marking on rough surfaces such as wood, coarse wrapping paper, and other articles where an ordinary pen could not be used. That was from his actual patent, with an actual image of what the pen looks like. His invention worked as intended on leather and rough products, but unfortunately it would not work on paper. So he eventually let the patent lapse after seeing no commercial use for it.
Oh, no.
In the nearly 40 years that followed, there were many failed attempts at improving the design, as the numerous worldwide historical patents show. It turns out that there is a balance between the tightness of the ball in the socket and the viscosity of the ink in the reservoir. Too tight or too viscous, and the ink would not flow; too loose, or the ink too fluid, and the pen would leak or smudge, just like the fountain pen. Which is the really interesting part of this, because I've always loved a biro, because the thing that has blown my mind about it, when you think it's such a complicated piece of engineering.
Yeah.
There's like so many, there's like actual moving, like a little moving part in it, like producing something, like mass producing something like that to the point where we get something like the Bic pen is kind of amazing when you think about it, when we're like, just as a thing that's made.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, when you really think about it, it is quite an achievement.
Yeah.
The pen. Mass producing it, so that
producing something,
it's got to be just right to write on paper. I didn't know that. Yeah, I mean,
yeah. When you think about the ball, it's such a genius little thing. A little ball rolling inside of like a little well of ink to like go through it. It's amazing. Fun fact also, for anyone that has ever had issues with pens, the pens that sometimes work, as you said, Dave, the ones that sit in this thing. My top advice that someone showed me once is if that pen starts not writing and only writes sometimes, it might mean that there's something in the ball or in that little reservoir well where the ball is. So the best thing you can do, if you have a leather shoe or something, you can kind of just try and move the ball against the leather or the shoe or the rubber of the bottom of your shoe. There's something that's got a bit of a grip on to kind of move that ball around. And if you do that, normally it will loosen whatever is jamming the ball and you can save your pen.
Okay. Because I was going to ask, what do you do when you get a biro and it's not working and you can't just pick up another one out of the jar?
Yeah, that's what I recommend.
What's your first go-to thing though? Do you start scribbling first?
Do the scribble,
trying to get the ball moving, kind of thing.
I do the scribble, and then if the scribble doesn't work, the next thing I do is put up my shoes.
Honestly, well, I didn't know that one, so my next step would be probably rubbing the pen in my hands, to maybe warm up the ink.
But it's not the ink that's the problem.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Yeah. But yeah, usually, obviously, I just grab another pen.
Yeah.
But if the situation rises, then I'll remember that.
Yeah, but honestly, I have so many. In fact, I don't think I have any anymore. Any of my white shoes, you will see little ballpoint pen marks on them where I've loosened the biro. It honestly works quite a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Also, out of interest, because also pens obviously are like the most gone missing things that you could own. Like, you always lose a pen. You always have a collection, and they always start going missing bit by bit. A bit like lighters, but a bit less common than that now. Like, pens just like to disappear. They like to run away. Have you ever used a pen so much where you've had to refill it? Or have you ever had to refill a pen?
So,
have you ever refilled a pen?
Well, most of the pens I have in the house are not refillable pens. They're just biros that we've acquired and accumulated from...
Most of those are refillable.
I really just buy a new...
Yeah, little ink stick.
Yeah. Oh, right. Well, I've never done that.
Yeah, biros, I think it's like the little head. Like, you have to buy them in like quite large sets.
Yeah.
But,
oh, cool.
yeah.
There you go. That's a bit more eco-friendly.
Repair.
But back in the day, I can't remember if it would have been a fountain pen or a ballpoint pen, but I did have a pen that had these ink cartridges that themselves had a ball at the top, but a ball that you'd just push in and it would just be inside the ink.
That's a fountain pen.
It is a fountain pen,
I know
isn't
exactly
it?
the one you're on about. That's a fountain pen. That is banned. That is banned from
We're
this
not talking
episode,
about
Dave.
those.
We've got to save the story.
Save the story for another day.
Do you know what, those pens were way worse at leaking. And those ones, it's funny you say that, actually. Now that you've said that, yeah, we used to fill those all the time. But I think we used to fill them all the time because they'd run out of ink really quickly.
They're not very efficient pens,
And
are they?
oh, God, you've unlocked a memory, yeah, because there were little ones and there were bigger ones, weren't there?
Yes,
Depending on
you could, yeah.
Well, what's interesting is, and once again, this is about the mass production of the pens, biros, normally when you refill them, it's the whole stick. It's the ball. It's the little ballpoint at the end, because they've obviously, it's so efficient at being made now. Essentially, it's just a shell, and then the bit that actually matters, the actual pen, they just rebuild that entire thing. Yeah. And I actually have, I don't think I have it on me, I actually have as a pen for my little compact notebook, because I do still handwrite notes, just a Parker pen refill, because it's really small and it's like metal. So it's just a little metal pen. So it's missing its shell, but it's just a little pen that I just, because that's like the most compact pen I can have.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, when you talk about heating up the ink, one of the things I always remember as a kid is, like, with ballpoints especially, ballpoints were the worst for it. If you did heat up the ink, that pen would leak like a mother trucker. It would just, like, everywhere. And I don't know if you've ever had this, because this is going to come to relevance in a second, but being the hot mess that I've always been, I have probably had every single kind of pen break on me and leak in some form. And I can tell that, you remember those little red, I think they were called biros, but they weren't ballpoints. Those little red handwriting pens. Do you ever have those? They were little like gel pens at the end. They had a little nib that you take off and put on. No?
Not sure.
We used to have these little red handwriting pens.
Yeah.
And they would refill with like a little block of ink. It was like a little thing that you just kind of put in.
Yeah, I don't know
there
if
was
I
those
remember that
pens.
one. Yeah.
The biro handwriting pens. There were then normal ballpoint pens, and then there were gel pens.
Yeah, gel pens.
Differently.
They became a fad at one point.
Yeah, they were smelly pens. Do you remember the smelly pens?
Yeah.
That was the big fad.
And also the pens that you've got different colours that are in a circle and you can push whichever colour.
I love
down.
those pens.
Yeah, they're cool, aren't they? Yeah. Handy.
Oh, it's a barrel handwriting pen.
Right, okay.
Hold on.
I wonder if I have come across
Let me
these.
just see if you can, because this was like everything in my memory as a child were these pens. Did you ever have these pens?
Right, yes. I remember those, yeah.
So could you describe the pens for the audience?
So they're, normal pen length. They're red, and they say handwriting pen on the side in kind of handwritten writing, barrel handwriting pen. And then did we establish what it was called? The nib is white and straight and about probably, I'd say 6 mil long, something like that, 6 or 7 mil long. And then you can see the actual ball at the end is the dark coloured bit at the end. And they're very straight. They don't taper. They're straight pens up until the
little
very
thing,
end.
like a little inkwell thing. Those ones, I remember, I was a proper pen chewer for a long time, and I remember those ones would leak if I like bit it wrong, or I'd just bite too much, mate. I'd nibble it too much, and I just remember I remember once being on like a school trip, and there just being this moment where like everyone just started looking at me, and everyone was like, "What's happened?" And I'm like, "What?" And I had no idea. And people just I must have been like, this was primary school. Yeah. But I just remember people looking like, what's happened? And I'm like, what? And then I look down and it's like, there's just ink everywhere. And apparently my lips were blue. And I think I was wearing, it was a school, primary school, so I had like a white just everywhere. And that was the ink leaking everywhere. And then fountain pens, they just leak in your pocket. If you didn't put that little inky well thing on your fountain pen properly, it would just everywhere.
Yeah.
And then there were ballpoint pens. And I don't know about you. Have you ever had any of those leak on you?
I've had ballpoint pens leak on me. Yeah.
Have you ever noticed anything significant about the difference between a pen like that leaking versus a fountain pen leaking?
Well, there's a lot less ink leaking out.
Lot less?
Yeah.
Anything else?
It's kind of patchier, I suppose you could say. It doesn't leak constantly. It's maybe, I don't know, it washes out. Does it wash out?
It's actually, the ink is more sticky, I have found.
Right, okay. Yeah.
And that stickiness is, in fact, the reason that the ballpoint pen got going.
Right.
So it would take until the 1930s when Hungarian newspaper editor Laszlo Biro, annoyed by the failings of a fountain pen's smudging of ink, cleaning up and the time-consuming refilling, noticed that newspaper ink dried quickly and wondered if it could be used in a pen.
Right, that's cool, yeah.
And basically, with his brother and having a deep understanding of chemistry, they would then change the viscosity of the ink that would then allow the ballpoint pen to work as it should.
Yeah.
So John J. Loud, invented the mechanism, but the problem that he had was the ink drying in the reservoir and getting it to work like too well or leaking and things.
Yeah.
But it was literally Laszlo Biro that was able to kind of make that pen with that ink that works. Because the one thing I love about biros, if you're used to a life of biros, then you go to a fountain pen. The one thing that you always notice, all gel pens in fact, is the ink dries really, really quickly.
Yes.
You go to write that birthday card, I've always found with a biro, it dries pretty quick. You do it in a fountain pen, beautiful gel pens, even after like a minute, you're like, right, close the card,
yeah,
and then that's it.
Occasionally a biro, I think, leaks a little bit extra ink and you can get a smudge, but yeah, on the whole, they dry much quicker, and they're a great invention, really, aren't they?
So the other thing I love, the other simple mechanism of a pen, can you guess the other part I'm going to talk about?
The lid?
The lid, or the not lid. The other thing I love about a good book, I love a good clicky pen. I love the little clicky lids.
Yeah.
You can have a lid, and I like that they feel a bit fancy, like take off the lid. Oh, hit the microphone. Take off the lid. Stick it on. That's nice. Yeah, that's my lid. You often lose them though.
You do, yeah.
And I feel like the clicky pen, I love it. In fact,
it's satisfying, isn't it? And you can be James Bond with it, can't you?
Yeah, I do. I think of GoldenEye as well.
Yeah,
little clicky.
Don't you just? Yeah.
I remember as a kid, like when that came, and I was like, how many times do I click it? How many times before it explodes? Hold on, I'm going to grab some ballpoint pens because this will be good for our audio listeners as well as our video listeners. We can just, before we have a little assessment of some of the clickiness of these pens. Give me a sec.
I'm going to have a look as well. See what I've got in here. Don't think I've got any pens in here.
Okay, I come bearing pens.
I was looking for some myself, but I don't have any. Not in here.
I have a drawer, funnily enough, as I discussed on the shelf episode of the podcast, I just have a drawer full of pens.
Yes, you do.
And a lot of those pens are pens that didn't work the one time I used them and then went back in the drawer. And I was like, there's no way. But some of these pens I definitely got like 10 years ago. So, funnily enough, this is a Parker pen. This is a Parker pen with a lid. It's a little Batman pen.
Yeah, cool. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's missing the ink cartridge, so that doesn't help. So, funnily enough, this is just the shell of a Parker pen. Okay, but it's all metal. Feels nice and solid. Okay. The other thing I also realised, we're talking about the clicky pens. I've also got this fancy metal one here, which is a Franklin Covey. I think it came with a fancy notebook that I got given. But it's a twist. I like the little twist.
Oh, I think I actually do have one of those. Hold
on. The little twist ones?
Yeah. It's in a box and everything.
Oh,
it's a cross.
I like a weighty pen. So then I've got this one, which is like one of those all-in-one jobbies. You can also tell I've been chewing it a bit, but this one is like it's all one colour. It's plastic, quite light, but that doesn't sound good. That's a bit of a weak. This one is from our old place, Robert Smythe Academy, and this one, that's a good click. Oh, you got a little twisty pen?
Yeah, it's a twister. Yeah. That is a nice click, though.
It's very hard for sound, isn't it? You can't really do the sound of a twist.
There's no sound.
So, okay, so we've got... This is a cheap pen that I think has a bad click.
Yeah, oh yeah. I know exactly.
And then this is a slightly more expensive pen that I think has a good click.
Yeah, that's a nice click. Yeah, that's good.
Bad? Good. It's like weighty. It's got a weight
exactly.
behind it.
Yeah.
I've got a metal pen here that was for an educational company. This one, I actually think the click isn't that good. Oh, look at that.
Sounds a bit like it's on its last legs.
It does. I think that's just the way the pen is. It's like a
It's
a metal pen. It's heavy, but look, if you untwist it, really all these pens consist of. There you go. That is a Parker refill right there. It's all metal.
I've used those before. Yeah.
Yeah, but the nice things about these, Chris's top tip, this is a good little pocket pen.
Yeah.
So the weight of it is quite nice. But yeah, and once again, when you think about like the design of these, it's amazing. It's literally just a spring, a little metal bit, so that, you know, goes through, pokes through like that, and then just a little clicking mechanism to pull it through.
Simple brilliance.
Simple brilliance. Yeah, here we go. I've got one. This is for another company. This is a little plastic pen, but it's two-toned colour. But
oh yeah, it's quite nice.
It's okay. That's like slightly higher,
Yeah.
isn't it? And we've got this pen, which is just a nice little blue pen. Okay, it's quite thick. It's not round. It's got a slight straight edges.
Yeah.
There we go. It's got slight straight edges all the way through.
Perhaps for comfort whilst writing.
Oh, that's nasty. I don't like that.
Yeah.
The lid at the top, the clicky lid at the top is quite flat as well. This one is for one of my old jobs. Got a little Go Mad Thinking pen here. Oh, I've just realised that's not a clicky pen.
It's not a clicky pen.
It's not a clicky pen. But it is a twist pen with a click. We've been twisting these pens this whole time. We've been twisting our ballpoint pens with this one. This one has a little click.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So, turns out, if you do have a little satisfying... It's nice because, like, I don't know about you, and it's really hard to describe to people, but I find on a twisty pen, it's just like, yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like, but this one, it clicks into place. It's like, you are here. It's writing time.
And that's nicer. I'm all
nice.
about that. Yeah.
So, funnily enough, and just before as a last one, my phone, I have a Galaxy, which has a stylus.
Nice.
On it, and that stylus writes on the phone. Obviously it's not a ballpoint, but it does have, just for no use whatsoever, a little click mechanism.
That's cool, just to be satisfying.
Yeah, and I broke this stylus by accident when I dropped my phone. The phone was fine, the stylus was not. Cost me, I think I ended up £40 for it.
Wow.
And it's just a little stylus, but it meant that my phone had like a big gaping hole.
So it's actually built into the phone. Yeah.
Yeah, it just slots right into the phone. But the nice thing about that click thing, when you slide it into your phone, it clicks in.
Nice. I see, yeah.
But that's, once again, and to tie it all back to what we were talking about at the beginning, that technology now is imitating the inventiveness, the hand feel of just the classic ballpoint pen, the common ballpoint pen. And that's what I love about it. It's common, it's everywhere, but it is so inventive. There's so many, just look at the ones I've grabbed. Just these are grabbed out of the drawer. There's so many different kinds.
Oh, yeah, I could see some classic pen styles
all
there.
of those pens, they just have these magical little balls.
Yeah.
Little balls at the end of it to do those ink. And it was because of the Laszlo brothers working out a better kind of ink to write that allowed us to have the pens that we have today. And I think that's pretty special.
Yeah, me too. Revolutionary, really.
Revolutionary.
Yeah.
Do you know how many words the average biro can write?
Well, that's a good question. I'm going to say 1 million.
Well, that would be nice, but no.
No?
No. So this is
maybe
from...
characters.
I'd read this before and I couldn't find the one I wanted to, but this is from a website called spartex.com, which has an amazing tagline that says, "Give words to thought."
Nice.
Very nice. But it says here, on average, a pen has the capability to write up to 45,000 words.
Okay.
This translates to roughly 1,000 A4 pages with an average of 450 to 500 words per page.
Still, it's impressive though, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, still, it's very impressive. When you consider how much money it costs to get a pen.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a million.
It's not a million. Is that what you want? There will be. This is the average. I imagine there is a million. Is there a 1,000,000 word ballpoint pen? This is no longer the common ballpoint pen, though.
No.
So according to pens.com, to reach 1,000,000 words, you would need 20 pens, which is, 50,000 words.
Right.
There is... Oh, well, Okay, so apparently there is the Flair Write-O-meter, which is marketed as the longest writing pen and can write up to, it doesn't say words, it just says can write up to 10,000 meters.
Oh, okay. That's a cool measure, though.
Yeah, that is a cool measure. That's just like a pen that goes over that, and that is just a Google search. The other thing I really wanted to quickly cover as well, have you ever heard of the pen myth?
No.
So there was this whole thing that they talked about with NASA, where they couldn't work out how to get ballpoint pens working in space because of the ink and gravity or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they said, but Russia just used pencils. That's a myth.
It's a myth, is it?
And it was, in fact, they did invent a pen for it because the problem is with pencils was little particles and fibres would float out and could damage your equipment because obviously in zero gravity it would do that. So no, they would use pens, but they invented a special pen which was called the Space Pen.
Of course.
The Fisher Space Pen.
Nice.
Which uses special ink, but do you know what it was at the end, Dave?
Ballpoint.
A ballpoint.
Of course it was. It's the best.
It is the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's an urban legend, and apparently they did use pencils, but it was the dangers of broken tips, especially because, man, there is nothing worse when you're writing with a pencil and it snaps. We're going to cover that on the pencil episode now. This is ballpoint pen territory. But apparently, according to, this is on the Wikipedia now that I've got it onto, as of 2021, Fisher Space Pens were still being used on the International Space Station. However, the product literature states the pen will write for exactly 30.7 miles.
That's a lot.
So that's 49 kilometers. This is how it works, okay? It's so easy. All it is that the ink cartridges are pressured. So you can write it upside down, because I don't know if you've ever found you can't write upside down on a ballpoint pen because the ink isn't flowing.
It's not going into it. Yeah.
But with a space pen,
you can.
And it's just a refill now. Now you can get like those special things, and they can put them in any kind of pens you would like.
Let's get myself a space pen.
Yeah, then you can write upside down and you can be like, look. But just as to close that myth off, NASA didn't pay any money for it. It was an independently developed pen.
Okay.
So someone saw a problem and then did it. NASA had never asked or did it. It was just made and then asked if NASA could do it. And then they thought that the pen was really good, so they used it. So there we go. Pens, man.
Yeah.
The ballpoint pen, the common ballpoint pen.
Yeah. I
truly believe is a feat of human ingenuity.
Yeah.
Because there is so many things in that. And it also shows we have, whatever they call it, like the great man theory of history. It's like, oh no, there's one person does all the change of word. Even to make the ballpoint pen, it took multiple people. It took Laszlo, took his brother, took John J. Loud to really tie all those things together. And it just shows if we as a world build things on top of each other, iterate and iterate, instead of being selfish, keeping those patents away, iterate and work on each other's things, we can do truly amazing things. So we have gone from John J. Loud was like, oh, this pen, but I've got this little thing that it's not working that well. And then Laszlo's like, oh no, we could change the ink. And then you go to the space pens, which use pressurized ink cartridges.
Very cool.
All just different ways to be able to make little shapes, little lines, little fun things on a bit of paper, which, let's be honest, is way better than seeing something typed out.
Yeah.
For something.
Absolutely.
I'd rather read, like, I don't know, maybe my rental housing contract. I quite like that being printed.
Yeah.
I'd feel quite bad for landlords.
Things.
Maybe there'd be less rules if like every law had to be handwritten.
They probably would be, wouldn't they? Yeah.
I know certain people like to use Sharpies as well, which just feels like wrong, because I just feel like you can't get the accuracy the precision, that's the word. You can't get the precision with a ballpoint. And I just think when it ties into something that even today, even in this year, always going to sound old, aren't we? Even in this year, it can be like, is less than £1. The ability to just put those shapes on a bit of paper can be under £1, you know, or in the tens of thousands for a fancy one. But ultimately, it does exactly the same thing in terms of features. Yeah. All it does is squidges out a little bit of ink on a bit of thing for what you want to do. And I do recommend it. If you haven't written with hand pens for a while, or you've just written a note, I recommend just doing some notes, doing some free writing. If you ever have an idea, write it down in pen. Don't put it in your phone. Just have a go writing it in pen, because I do find there is just something almost like a physics thing of like my thought has gone down my arm and just kind of somehow merged with the ink.
Yeah.
And turned into that, because all ink is shapes, but somehow those shapes, as we said, could be a death threat, could be a love letter, could be signing away your business or starting the new business. But it is all a connection and shows how we're all connected in the universe, man.
Yeah, well said. It's kind of deep.
Yeah, I feel like this is and do you know what? We went to space. This was the space pen.
We did, yeah.
We were originally. I admittedly, after being so strict on the kinds of pens we talk about, I did kind of venture a bit into space pens. But my argument to that is, it's still a ballpoint.
Still a ballpoint pen, yeah.
It is still the common ballpoint pen. So I do thank my boss Dan for coming up with that, because that was definitely taking us on a deep journey there. If you have any suggestions at home of things we should do, please comment wherever you see this podcast. Spotify, the mundane.uk, on Instagram, other places. Just write to us. I love to hear your suggestions, all your thoughts. Please write to us on there. We'd love to have a chat with you. We've already had some amazing comments and things recently, but yeah, please share with anybody you know who think you might like it, whatever episode, this episode, any other episode that they might, find interesting. And do rate us as well. That also helps. We want to try and keep this going as regularly as we can. So yeah, any kind of things you can do, all of that boring stuff that we can do to keep going will be great. And I suppose with that, all there is to say to the people at home, I love you very much.
I love you.
And Dave, I love you.
Chris, I love you too.
And I can hear you talk about things forever.
Oh,
so let's keep that going.
Yeah,
and maybe I'll write them down with a pen. And with that, goodbye.
Bye. Sister Mundane Podcast.